Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for being here. I'm preparing this live stream very, very late due to the fact that it was one of the kids' birthdays today, so the lighting and everything hasn't been set up, and yeah, there's been no preparation, so apologies for that. But I hope all of you are doing very well. Thank you very much for the people that are currently in the live stream, and anybody watching this post, thank you for being here. What do I say? What have I got to say? Is there anything that I can say before I get started? I do actually have one thing, and this is fortunately for me not really something that I've been experiencing too much within my own stuff, but I've been receiving screenshots and things like that from other viewers of comments that other coaches have been getting, where people have been like quite rude to the coach and been very expectant and stuff. And I've definitely had my fair share of people like demanding responses and stuff like that. So just a small reminder, just to make sure that you're being sort of courteous of the people that you're watching. Of course, they're there to help you, so definitely ask them for help. But just make sure that whether it's me, whether it's a big channel, small channel, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're being courteous and polite and stuff. Just small thing I wanted to say, just because I've noticed a rise of some quite. I'm not quite sure what the word is. I'm not going to say negative comments because it's not really negative, but just kind of almost forgetting that the person creating the content is also a human being. But just a side note, I don't think any of you lot really are going to be like that because you're all awesome people. But I just wanted to, make sure it was said. When the comments and questions and stuff start coming in, of course, we'll get started with the discussions, the answers, and so on and so forth. Anything else that I need to say? Anything else that I need to say for the members who are obviously the ones watching this? Due to it being one of the kids' birthdays this week, I didn't get around to the members only videos, so they will be up and with you both either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm gonna get recorded tomorrow, but whether or not I get to edit and post them by tomorrow, not sure. But they'll definitely be with you Tuesday. So manifestation one, self-improvement one. If there's anything specific that you'd want to have on a members only video, whether it's manifestation or self-improvement, by all means comment it and I'd be more than happy to. There's a couple of people in here, but no one has said anything yet. So could you just comment something just to make sure that things are working accordingly? Because my laptop died literally a minute before the live stream started, and I had to set it all up. And I'm worried that I don't know how it would have, but I'm worried that it may have screwed something over because the chat isn't showing anything. And I just did an emoji in it to see if it would, and it didn't do anything. Oh, there we go. Mike says, "Hey, hope you're well. Need to have another call soon." Yeah, I am very well, thank you, Mike. I hope you're well too. And yeah, of course, by all means, drop me an email whenever you're ready, and we'll get the another call booked in. But thank you for commenting because I was uncertain if things are working accordingly because my own little emoji didn't go through. I need my glasses. Calixty, I think I said that right. Says hi, new member here. First live A. Well, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for supporting the live stream. These members only lives can be a bit hit or miss depending on how many people show up. I think it's mostly because of the time variance. Sometimes we get quite a few people, sometimes not so much. So hopefully today will be a big amount of people. But since you're new here, by all means, if you've got any other questions or anything that you wanted to discuss, put it down below. It doesn't have to be just manifestation related. If it's just general life or you wanted to just have a chat, by all means, fire away. Got a new phone yesterday, and I've been spending the past couple of days trying to sort it all out, and it's been a pain in my ass. Every time I'm like, "Oh, I'll check that," I'm like, "Oh, I've got to re-register and re-get it downloaded and everything." It's been a nightmare, but it's all good. Come on, someone must have a question or comment. There's a few of you in here. What I might start doing, maybe, is more competitions again soon. I haven't done a competition in quite a while, so I might do a competition again soon. And one of the bonuses will be part of being in these members only live streams, just as one or two winners who win the competition can get added, just to add the numbers up. There's quite a few gold members actually. I think there's 44 at present. So there's a lot of people that could show up to this, but like I said, time and stuff like that. Maybe people are busy or working or whatever. But you know what I might do? I might just talk about a topic and then just to not waste our time here. And then if people have questions, then I can detour and go on to it. So the topic I want to talk about was something that has been brought up a lot lately. Action. Actually, I think I want to talk about action. So One thing that seems to be confusing a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of mismatch information, a lot of people that kind of go way too far into the law of assumption, sort of say that action is the devil, and then there's the obviously other people that say, action, there's no outcome without action and stuff. So I'm going to give my sort of 2 cents on action and how I use it and what I suppose I believe is the best way to make use of it. So action, in my view, is never a problem. Taking action in your reality, whether it's reaching out to a person, whether it's applying for jobs, anything like that, isn't inherently the problem. It's the mindset that you're taking it's the mindset behind the actions that you're taking. What I mean by that is, let's say, for example, I was someone running a business and I was working 40 hours a week, absolutely smashing it out, but my mindset was that of like, oh, I've got to do this. There's no clients coming. I need to work harder to get the clients and stuff like that. I would get a worse result over an extended period of time compared to someone who did the exact same work, but the mindset was, this is quality work. I am going to have so many people coming to me. Like, I am, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. Who wouldn't want to work with me? Look at how much effort I'm putting in. The two different mindsets would make a very, very big difference within the outcome if you were to compare it over an extended period of time. Obviously, day by day, you might say, oh, well, today for that one was just the same as for that one. But after maybe 10, 15, 20 days, you would significantly see the drop off between the person complaining a lot and taking the action with a negative mindset and the person not complaining and taking the action for a positive mindset. And in fact, my own business has reflected this as well. When I am a lot more positive and a lot more sort of end result focused when in my business and doing the conscious work to be like, this video is going to do great, or this service is worth it, 10 times better results than the times when I just do the work and kind of go, it wasn't a bad video, but blah blah blah, and I kind of just have a bit more of a lower view on things. So this shows us that the actions that we take mean very little. Now, you don't need, quote unquote, need to take action, as in conscious action. The way that I see it is, your subconscious mind is the creative power, and your subconscious mind moves things in your reality to get you to where you need to be once impressed. What this means is, assuming you've impressed your subconscious mind, if you are the variable that needs to be shifted in order to get you to where you need to be, your subconscious mind will make you do so in a very natural and unconscious basis. That's why we don't need to take conscious action. Of course, the alternative is that those things come to you and you don't need to take any action whatsoever. And I think this is kind of generally the message behind why people say don't take action, or you don't need to take action, because your subconscious mind will get you there. But I think also another big thing as to why a lot of coaches, myself included, say not to take action is because it's saving you from yourself. Like I said, most people, when they're taking action from the angle of, I'm doing this out of fear, or if I don't do this, they'll forget me, or if I don't apply for 30,000 jobs, I won't get one, and those kinds of things. It's very much like, I need to, otherwise, I won't get a result. And of course, that need creates more lack. So when we say not to take action, we're not saying that if you take action, it's the devil. We're saying, generally speaking, if you were to consider the vast majority of people in the law of assumption community, the vast majority of people, when taking action, are taking it from that space of not having, trying to make happen. So it's not a, you cannot take action, otherwise you will fuck up your manifestation. It's more of a, if you do take action, you run the risk of getting a negative outcome because you're probably going at it with a negative mindset. And even though circumstances don't matter, so the fact that that negative outcome has happened is irrelevant to you and your mind, it isn't irrelevant. And you'll start looking at it like, oh, this is proof it doesn't work, or this causes this negative, and so on and so forth. And you'll continue to spiral on it. Yasmi says, hey, Matt, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you very much. I hope you are too. But this action that you've taken, if in the wrong mindset when taking it, could lead you to a negative outcome, which of course outcomes don't matter, but the way that you will then begin to look at that outcome and the way that you will then begin to allow that outcome to affect your internal state, that does matter. So we're telling you to not take action, not because if you do it's game over, as in like that's it, but because if you do and get the wrong result, you will probably create it to be game over by the way that you assume it. If you're taking action from a massively abundant space, like everything is perfect, Of course, I'm not going to guarantee results because it would vary depending on how long you've been in that state, the impression on your subconscious mind, what things out there have moved. But what I can guarantee you is if you were to stay in that state, the actions that you take would have a much higher chance of providing you what it is that you desire. This is why I think taking action is something that is absolutely fine to do, because there are people out there that don't know about the law, or they know about it and don't believe in it, but they're still getting success. Now, of course, the reason why they're still getting success, despite the fact they are taking action, will be because the mindset they're having behind their actions. You don't need to know about the law in order to make use of it. As long as your mindset is in the right space, the outcomes you receive will be in the right sort of general area as well. So, those that don't know about the law or know about it but don't actively practice it, but still get results through their actions, are getting the results that they're getting because the mindset that they naturally have behind the actions they're taking is more of an abundant mindset, which is why they're getting the results. Because just as equally, there's people that know about the law and don't believe in it, or don't know about the law at all, who aren't succeeding with those actions. But if you were to compare the two variables, it would be the mindset behind those actions that are making the difference. One is an abundant space. This is quality work. This is going to get me more people. This is going to bring me in more stuff. And then on the flip side, this isn't really that good. I've got to work harder. If I work more hours, then maybe someone will come to me for coaching or something like that. And that's why they are not succeeding as well. So if you're ever thinking about taking any kind of action, ensure that you are taking the action from the positive mindset. If it goes well, great, you won. If it doesn't go well, let go of what hasn't gone well and continue to be forward focused anyway, because circumstances don't matter. So the fact you took action isn't that big of a deal. The fact that it took a negative turn isn't that big of a deal, assuming you don't allow it to be. So many people will take action, most often through fear, and sort of claiming it as inspired action, but most of the time it isn't. Most people sort of mistake the urges that they have that are fear based with inspired action, but they'll take the inspired action, quote unquote, um, action, I suppose, get a negative outcome, and then they'll be like, oh my God, I shouldn't have taken that action. I screwed everything. This is what they've said. This is what they're doing. They don't want anything to do with me, yada, 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 yada. And they'll create more of that impression up here, which creates more of those negatives out there. So the action they took doesn't actually matter. It's the way that they're looking and associating with that action that is then causing the problems. So if that is the experience that you're in, do the very best you can to let go of the fact that you took action, to let go of what the result of said action was, and to continue going forward, because it's all in the mindset. Actions are merely a result of the mindset that you have. If I think about doing something, I then do it. Bar a few reflexive things, like if someone was to, throw a brick at me and I might like dodge reflexively, there is nothing that you do that hasn't been processed up to here first. So, therefore, the actions by extension must be nothing more than a perception or a habit or you just consciously thinking about it. But I hope that answers your question. If you ever intend to take any action at all, stop for just a moment and think, where am I taking this action from? Is it genuinely abundant or is it fear based? Is it genuinely the best thing for me to do? Or am I doing this because I'm concerned that if I don't do it, something bad's going to happen? Where is your mind actually at when taking that action? And if it's in the right space and you still feel like you need to take action, go ahead. If it's in the wrong space, don't take that action because it's not going to benefit you. Take a step back, stay doing the work up here, and then go into that action. But of course, like I said, even if you don't take action, but you're residing within the space of your desire being done, you will be pulled to take the correct action at the correct time to make things happen. So you don't have to worry about quote unquote missing out on your desire. You will still get it whether you take action or not. But just make sure the action you do take is positively aligned, and just make sure that if you're not taking action, you're residing within the end result of that desire already being done. Hope that helped. There you go, a little on the fly sort of mini video for you there, really. I suppose it was like about 10 minutes I was talking about action. So I really hope that little explanation helped for any of you that wanted to know anything about action while I waited for more comments and questions. Calixty says, getting more into manifestation, I'm now naturally starting to come up with what feels like a high amount of desires. Now I'm kind of struggling to manage all things. Any advice on this? And then you put yay action. Yeah, of course. So I like the idea of having multiple desires. I One thing that a lot of people that have worked with me, especially men, I tend to have this response a lot more to men. But when people come to me sort of saying, this person is the only one I want, blah, 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 I tend to go, well, what else do you want? You know, like, are you working on building up your money? Why don't you start working on building up your money as well, or in the process and stuff, things like that? Because I think like having multiple desires not only is good for your life, but it's also good for a detachment. The most detached people that I end up working with come as a result of only focusing on that one desire. And then I ask them, like, yeah, let's say you did get your desire. What then? And then they're usually like, oh, well, I'd start working on physique. I'd start working on my money. Maybe I want to move house or something like that. And I'm like, well, why not start those things now as well? The more desires you have, surprisingly enough, the easier it is to manifest the initial thing because you're not as attached. And when things start going better in other areas, it's easier to feel better about one thing. If I have, and I will answer your question, I know this isn't specifically what you're asking, but going on a bit of a tangent. If let's say, for example, I'm manifesting a specific person and it's not quite going so well, me personally, I'd much rather cry about how it's not going well in my Lamborghini that I manifested, driving home to my mansion that I manifested, getting home, getting changed, looking in the mirror and seeing amazing body that I manifested, and I don't know, my friends come round and they're the best friends ever because I manifested them, as opposed to going home in a shitty car because I haven't bothered working on my car manifestation, going home to a house that's leaking through the roof because I haven't worked on moving into a better place, looking in the mirror and not being happy with what I see, and my friends are blowing me off. I'd much rather the former, even though my specific person thing might be going negative. The general environment of the entire life, because of the other desires that I have, make it not so bad. Still, obviously, specific person is not going to be the most amazing situation in that example, but the former life example, I would personally prefer over the latter. So that's why I recommend always having multiple desires, because when you're improving every area of your life, even when one thing is lacking, you can at least have other things to appreciate as they move along. But to answer your question, you already are manifesting all of those things anyway. I mean, unless it's something brand new that you haven't thought about, as in like all of a sudden wanting to pick up guitar, if you are manifesting a new body, you're manifesting a new car, a new house, your specific person, and an increase in money. Let's just say those five things. You already have assumptions on each one of those things. You already have an assumption on your body. That's why it is the way it is. You already have an assumption on your house. That's why you live in the house that you have. Same thing with money. That's why you earn the amount that you earn. The same thing with specific person. That's why the relationship is the way that you desire to be. And I think car was the other one. And that's why that's the car that you have. You already have assumptions set in place on these things. You already have moments of time when you think about those things, when you get into your car, when you think about filling up your car from petrol, when you walk into your house, when you think about your specific person, when you think about or look in the mirror. There are already times when you will already think about those desires. So, when manifesting multiple desires, there are two things that you can do. The first thing is to create times during the day when you'll just take some time out to do some conscious creative work around those things. I like to call this being proactive with your manifestation work. Let's say, for example, you have five desires and you like doing 10 minutes of affirmations in the morning and night. Maybe just do two affirmations for each desire for that duration of the 10 minutes, or a little bit more if you want to just add more to each one, maybe 15 minutes, and you do 3 minutes for each desire, just as an example. And then same thing at night. That's being proactive. You're consciously putting yourself in the end space without any kind of catalyst to put you there. You're just saying, I have this car, I have this body, I have this, whatever it is. And then there's being positively reactive. And what this means is when something has come to mind or come to the 3D, you're reacting to it in a positive manner. I.e., when you walk out the door and you're manifesting a new car, you will see your car anyway. So why not say, hey, look, there's my lovely Lamborghini, just as an example. Or I remember when I used to have this Toyota Corolla, now I have this McLaren 12C, for example. When you go into your house, oh, I remember when I used to live at insert address, but now I live in an amazing mansion in the village or out in the sticks or something like that. You will see your desires, you will think about your desires naturally throughout the day. So when you do, when your mind and focus has been placed on them naturally, positively react to it by flipping those thoughts. I'm thinking about my home right now. Let me just quickly think about an amazing mansion that I quote unquote live in. So I'm thinking about my 3-bed house in, I don't know, London. When I think about it, say, oh yeah, I remember when I used to live there, but I really like my new mansion out in the sticks, just as an example. And these kinds of like disassociating from the former, which is that of having what it is that you currently have, and then reassociating yourself with the latter will aid in impressing that story. Since it's already naturally coming to mind, it's not like you're doing any additional work. You're just making the effort to switch those thoughts to what it is that you desired. This is actually how I manifested my, not the house I live in now, but the house before. Anytime I unlocked the door of my old house, I would say to myself, I remember when I used to live here, but now I live. And then I sort of said the old place that I lived in. Whenever I was when I was manifesting Katie back, for example, whenever she came to mind, I would, depending on what came to mind, say, I remember when I thought that was the case, but now we're together, or, oh, that's not true because now I'm in a loving relationship, and things like that. Multiple desires doesn't necessarily mean more work. It just means that there's more instances where you're going to want to stay on top of your thoughts and direct them. You naturally think about your car or your house or your body or your specific person, and you naturally think about them in a certain way. So, what you'll want to do is when you're naturally thinking about them, consciously change what it is that you are thinking about it so that you can create a new assumption that benefits what you want to experience, therefore creating it. Coupling that with being proactive, you'll be just constantly adding, I don't know, manifestation power, if you want to use those kinds of terms, to the end result, therefore creating all of them. And that's been my experiences thus far. I've got many things that I have improved, and I've got many desires that I've worked on along the way. And this is the best way that I could find to do it without taking massive chunks of time to do 10 minutes of affirmations on each desire 3 times throughout the day. This was the most natural for me and the most fluent. Calixte says, that was very helpful. Thank you. You're very welcome. I was feeling overwhelmed at the idea I see around everywhere of 10-minute per day per desire 3 times a day. Haha. So, yeah, obviously you could go that route as well. Obviously, you said you're overwhelmed by it, so I'm assuming you're not going to want to. But you could go that route as well. The only thing with the proactive work, and this is more food for thought as opposed to unearthing everything I just said. But if you do 10 minutes in the morning and then 10 minutes at night, for example, that's 20 minutes. Let's just use one desire for the purposes of my explanation. So you do 10 minutes for a specific person in the morning and night. That's 20 minutes worth of affirmations. If you're reaffirming to yourself through your thoughts or your jokes or your negative thoughts or whatever like that throughout the day more than that, then you're still technically in the dominant state of the negative. So while I do recommend having proactive times to do the work to really keep yourself topped up, starting the day and ending the day in the right state, I 100% advocate the idea that being positively reactive to it and re-entering the desired state consistently is going to be not necessarily more fruitful, because the 10 minutes sort of segments is still also useful, but I think that's going to be the best way to ensure that you are staying dominant without overwhelming yourself. If the desire has already come to mind, you can make a choice whether you're going to let it go down some negative path or some positive path. If you disassociate to any negative and then take it down whatever positive, in that moment you are counterbalancing that negative scale. Coupling that with the proactive work is just the best of both worlds. Yasmi says, when it comes to visualizing your desires, if you have a hard time visualizing your desired outcomes, can you still manifest them? Yes, you absolutely can. Me personally, I've got a lot better at visualization over the years, but years ago when I manifested Katie back, my visualizations weren't that great. The scene was very meh. If I was lucky, I'd get a good scene, but most of the time it was kind of blacked out, and I kind of just knew what was going on, but I couldn't see it very well. I struggle to incorporate most of the senses. Sight, sense isn't so great. If I really concentrate, I can do the touch sense and I can do the hearing sense, but my visualizations definitely aren't the most perfect. And I still manifested Katie back. I still manifested money. I still manifested successful videos and stuff like that. You know what that scene implies. And what we're trying to do is enter the state of the wish fulfilled. And as long as you know what that scene is implying and it's helping you enter that state, then it's absolutely fine. Even if you don't have the perfect scene, as long as you are envisioning yourself, imagining yourself doing what it is that you want to do, it's going to have the impact you want it to have. And then you also say, how your desired house specifically looks like, or imagine the face of your SP, etc. So yeah, furthering that more, obviously, if you have specific things that you want to be true and you're struggling to visualize them in that moment, I would recommend maybe going general with it. For example, if you can't visualize the specific house that you want, but you know you want it to have 5 bedrooms and a gym, maybe do a visualization that's a little bit easier where you're talking to your mum, for example, saying, "Hey, I've just bought this house. It has 5 bedrooms. It's got a gym. It's got this. It's got that." You're still in that end state because you're still telling yourself or telling whoever's listening in the imaginary scene that you have the 5 bedrooms and the gym and so on and so forth. So it's still just as effective because it's putting you in the end state. That's what truly matters. If you can't see the visuals perfect, it doesn't really matter as long as you know what the scene implies. If you really don't know specifically what you want it to look like, but you know what you want it to have as its like the kind of qualities that you want it to have, do a visualization that where you're telling someone or doing something that implies that you have that thing with those qualities. Absolutely fine. I've used that method myself, like the phoning a friend and saying, "Hey, look, this video has done really well, and videos have done really well," or phoning a friend and saying, "Hey, look, I had a really good financial month, and then I've had financial months." So definitely don't get discouraged if your visualizations aren't perfect. Doing them and them not being perfect is definitely a lot better than trying to make them perfect and frustrating yourself and burning yourself out with them. Just while I wait for more comments. Yasmi says that's brilliant. Haha, thank you. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. It's what I do. Well, let me talk about some things that I'm working on. I usually don't because, and I literally spoke about this in last week's members only video or last members only video with always saying less than necessary, but I want to fill this time while I wait for more comments and stuff. Still working on the manifesting a specific person course. It's a big old course. It's going to be, so it's tailored towards manifest your specific person to get as many people interested in it. But not only is it manifest your specific person, but it's going to give you everything that you need to manifest, full stop. That's why it's such an extensive course. Once you get this course, you're not going to need to watch another video again. And if you do, then I will genuinely be baffled because there is so much. Let me just get it up real quick just so I can tell you some of the details. And with the course is going to come all my worksheets that are relevant and stuff like that as well. So it's going to give you homework to do as well. So this course is going to, you're not going to need anything else outside of that. So the course itself at current is 69 slides because I'm doing it on PowerPoint. And so far, I'm only just working through lesson 10. And that is in where is it? Oh, did I not break up the modules? Oh, I'm an idiot. I need to go back through and do that. Okay, so, well, lesson 10, essentially. Let me just double check that there isn't any more comments I can answer to. No, there isn't. Lesson 10, and where's nothing on my laptop where I need it to be? It's making me look unorganized. Where is it? And then the plan. So I'm on lesson 10, which is 69 slides, and there's 27 lessons to be done. So nearly 3 times the amount that I've already done. So yeah, very, very big course. It's going, like I said, it's going to cover everything, but I've done it in a way that's simple as well. So there's a lot of slides and stuff, but it should hopefully be in a way that is all digestible. It's not like loads of slides just packed with constant information that's going to overwhelm you. It should be really digestible, but really applicable. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. I'm working on the Masterclass Academy. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. So at the moment, the current work in progress title is Rulers of Their Reality, just purely because that's what the name of the Facebook community group is called. If you're not part of the Facebook community group, that is down below in the description. Join it. It's completely free. You can meet other likewise people in there. I'm not in there as much as I'd like to be because there's everything else kind of takes my attention a lot, but there's a lot of really great viewers in there that are good at helping, and Katie's in there quite regularly as well. So check that out. But on that, I want to have a mindset mastery, which is diving deep into psychology and how your mind actually works so you can make use of it in manifestation. The specific person course will be a completely free addition to that. I want to loads of stuff. I'm not going to go too much into it just because it's all still work in progress and stuff, but that's something that I'm working on. I'm wanting to write another ebook. I'm not quite sure what on yet. I have the 5 tips to become a master manifester, which a lot of people really liked. So I'm thinking about doing another ebook. I saw Corey T. So I'd recommend you go buy her ebook if you're interested. But she did one about her specific person journey, and I didn't think about niching up that much. Didn't really cross my mind. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. Probably not a specific person one because I think there's like too much specific person stuff about how people manifested their specific person out there, and just buying another book is just, I don't think that'd be much more benefit to you guys. Plus all of my story is already on here, but I'm thinking about maybe doing it about like building financial abundance and stuff like that, because that's something that I know a lot about as well. um the worksheets and all that kind of stuff, just working on a lot of stuff really. And I'm only telling you this right now to fill the time while I wait for more comments. If there aren't any more comments or questions very soon, then I think I might just head off, just because for anyone watching this post, I don't want to waste their time. And for all of you guys here today, obviously you guys are, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Greatly appreciated for showing up to this live stream, obviously. But if you're not going to ask anything, then I may as well just let you guys get back on with your day, because I imagine a lot of you are in the US, which means it's still fairly early for yourselves. It's currently 8:30 in the evening here. So yeah, I may as well leave you to get on with your day. So I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then if nothing else, then I'll head off. I still need to do next week's content plan. I don't know what videos to do. Don't know what would be valuable. This one's basically just been a whole action breakdown anyway as a live stream, so I can't really do an action video. I don't know. I'll have a think. Just one thing that I will recommend: not eating until 1 p.m. I used to think fasting was stupid. Not stupid. I think when you're fasting for religious purposes, I think that has its own precedence. But I think people that were just like, oh, you know what, I just get up and I just don't eat until like 3 o'clock and I'm fasting, man. I used to think like, why? Just what benefit is it? But the other day, last week, I say the other day, the whole of last week, I suppose this week, 'cause it's only Sunday, I was absolutely packed up with just non-stop work, to the point where I actually wasn't finding the time to eat. And I thought, you know what, I'm actually just going to try fasting. I'm just going to set a time where it's like, okay, I'm not going to eat until this time. And I did, and it was 1 p.m. So I get up at about 7, half 7, and I don't eat until 1 p.m. That's what I've done all week. And actually, I liked it. I take back everything that I said about people that fast. But I didn't really say a lot. I just didn't think the idea was that clever. I just didn't see the point of it. But no, it's, you get hungry, obviously, but I use that fuel to kind of like drive me to keep going forward and being like, oh, if I just get this done, then I'll have the time to eat. And usually by the time I just get that thing done, it's like 1 o'clock. And I found that the hunger actually gave me the drive to continue going, instead of checking my phone halfway through and be like, oh, you know what, I'm just bored. I'll go on my phone for a bit or something like that. I was like, no, I'm hungry. I need to finish this so I can eat. And actually, I found it was a very good driving force. And yeah. So if you haven't tried fasting before, I think it's not too bad if you find that you don't have enough time for stuff. And I would always fill it with stupid shit like cereal or fucking croissants. It's like, what's that even doing? You know, it's not like nutritional. It's not good for me. It's just sugar put in little circles. Anyway, I'm pretty much just rambling for the purposes of waiting to see if any more comments and questions came in. So I'm going to give it until 35 past, which is, or 35 minutes in the live stream, which is 2 minutes from now. If nothing comes in, then I'll leave you guys to the rest of your day, and I'll get on with the content plan to try and make next week's video content worthwhile. And then yeah, we'll go from there. Yasmin says, I usually fast against my will too. I think fasting against your will, it kind of, based on how I experienced last week, I feel like it just gives you more of a drive. If you're like willingly choosing to fast and you're like out of nowhere, I feel like it's probably more of a chore. I think that's how I assume it to be. And then Yasmin says, from your personal experience, what do you think was the most effective, fun, effortless technique? Oh, that's a good question. I suppose it depends on what you're doing with the technique. For me, obviously, because you asked for my personal experience, for me, I find affirmations to be the most effective, just purely because you can do them at any time and any place, and there's very little you have to do to get into them. Whereas like visualizations, you kind of have to take a few moments to visualize. Scripting, you obviously have to have the, what's it called, like the book and all that like with you. So, oh, stupid notification. So in terms of versatility and usefulness and most effective, I would say affirmations. I think for a fun purposes, If I'm having a good visualization day and really feeling the scene, I think visualizations, because you can just see anything. Like it's like when I was manifesting large sums of money, I would visualize myself taking Katie in the car, driving in our really nice car, and going and buying like new suits and clothes and stuff. And it was just one of those things. I used to love it because I used to love seeing what the suits looked like. I used to love being able to see the interior of my really nice car. Loved it. But again, because I'm not the best at visualizing, I find that overall I have more fun in affirmations just because I get more results from them. And effortless, I still think affirmations for me are the most effortless because you can just rattle the words off without even really having to think about it. Or you can really feel into them and still get success as well. So I think that that kind of makes it the most effortless visualization for me. I have to put effort in, scripting. You've got to write, which is effort. So generally speaking, I would probably say that affirmations for me personally are the most fun, effective, and effortless technique. Sorry, excuse me. Brooke says, "Have you gotten more successes with your scripting service? I've been wondering if it might me more, help me be more structured with my manifesting. I know what I want, but get so lost. Uh, oh, there's something blocking that. Can I see? Oh, lost in the what ifs or how. So yeah, so the way that my scripting service works. I've been really busy the past few days, so I haven't been able to really screenshot a lot of the successes and then post them. I got screenshots on my phone. I suppose my old phone. I need to transfer them over, but I've been able to post them. But what I usually do is I gather them all up on like the Monday and then put a few of them in the clips of the videos and then start posting those ones on the stories. So I do have more successes from the scripting service, which I'll be posting over the course of this week. I just tend to do it on like a week by week basis. Like on the Monday, collect them all, put some in the YouTube videos, put some on the Instagram stories, and then next Monday do the same thing over and over. So yeah, I definitely do have more successes. Some really nice ones actually. People getting there was one I posted the other day actually, which was about someone getting university placements. Um, Someone having their specific person referencing marriage quite a lot. Uh, just that general thing. A lot of my success stories in it are pretty much the same because most people are going for the same sort of thing. But yeah, and then you said, I've been wondering if it might help me be more structured with my manifestation. I know what I want, but get so lost in the what ifs and how. If you feel like it will help you, then of course it will help you. It's all about what you assume to be true. Um, the scripting service, that's actually something else I did want to talk to you guys about and get your feedback on, but I'll get onto that in a second. But the scripting service that I send you, the script, is the evidence of the work that I'm doing for you, and I affirm on my side of things. So whether or not it helps you with the structure and clarity, I don't know, because that would very much depend on how you take the service and how you assume it's going to help you in such things. If you are assuming the scripting service is more of like a here's what you should script on a day-to-day basis, it's not quite that, but that does feed into the other thing that I'm going to speak about once I've answered your other comment. But then you say, pretty personal. I'm struggling with the idea of my family disowning me and kicking me out. It was something SP reflected back and said not to do when we separated. Now I'm getting lost in the idea SP won't come back because I'm not on good terms with my family, and that's an important factor for him. So there's two routes you can go about it. You can either go about it the route of putting out the energy to get yourself in a better place with your family and repair that, and then therefore by extension, if it's repaired, then your specific person should come floating back in or be willing to, because that's what you assume to be the case when it comes to him. Or you could go the route of, despite your family situation, you and a specific person can get back together or can be together, because I only have my mum and sisters out of my family really, and I wouldn't change it. I don't really care about the rest of my family. They left me, so there's no interest for me to go back to them. So for me personally, I would rather stay in the stay in the state of, despite my family situation, my person will want to be with me. But of course, if you're wanting a family dynamic that's happy and healthy, then you're welcome to go that route and repair it. Then you say the repair of the family is what I'm struggling to decide on. Oh, okay, I see. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you what to do there. I can obviously advise you on how to go about it, but deciding on those kinds of on what to actually do is definitely more of a personal thing. Like I said, I think that for most people, actually, families are quite useless. I think that families, while they may mean well, I think that families actually tend to hold you back more than drive you forward. So I would say that most families are probably good to be, gotten rid of. But that's probably just my cynical view based on my own family. But and my friends' families, actually, all of my friends have strange family dynamics where we can all agree that just binning them off would have actually probably been a better option. But again, that's probably just my view on it. Other people probably only see happy families in their environment and therefore would have that view. So I would highly recommend sitting with yourself and actually deciding what's best for you, because, and this is the message I try to get across in all of my videos. While I definitely do think you're more than welcome to go for your people and you absolutely do deserve having what it is that you want, you should never go out of your way and make yourself miserable and not go for something you want because of someone else. The amount of people that would want to get back with their, or would want to separate their family, but would forcibly stay in a family dynamic just so their person can come back, they're letting someone else live their life for them. So put you first and then make the necessary adjustments after. If you don't want the family, don't have the family and then go with the despite my lack of family, my person wants me. If you want the family, go for the family. Always go for what you want first. Put yourself first. If you can't even put yourself first, how could you expect someone else to do so? If you can't even love yourself and have enough self-respect, and this isn't a rant specifically to you, Brooke, this is just general, take this message on, everybody listening. But if you can't have the self love to say, no, I won't accept that, or even if you're going to leave, I still want to do this thing that genuinely makes me happy. If you can't put yourself first in that degree, if you can't love yourself enough to let yourself live the best life you can, doing the things that makes you happy, how could you ever expect someone else to show up and give you what you want to live the best life you can? If you can't even give that to yourself, how could you expect other people to give it for you? Now, obviously, a lot of people don't want to hear that message. A lot of people would rather I say be a doormat to a specific person and they will come back. But I think it's generally you will get the best out of life when you start living it on your terms, and you can always switch the way that people assume themselves to be and the way that people will show up for you. So why not live it on your terms and make the necessary adjustments to the external by changing your internal so that they match you. I don't see the point in throwing yourself away to match someone else when you're the upper power of your reality. But then you say maybe meditating on it more. I think in this, I think the same in a way, but they drive the idea that I messed up in my head for how I think. Well, again, similar to what I just said, it's your life. If you think a certain way, you're entitled to think that kind of way. It's your family dynamic, it's your relationship basis, it's your life to live. As long as you're not actively going out, murdering people and like doing that level of evil shit, then what's the problem? Like, why couldn't you live the life that you want? If it's just because you don't want to talk to them because you don't like the way your mum borrows money every other week, just as an example, then you don't have to just because your specific person likes the idea of you having a family dynamic. You can change that. So, you know, go sit with yourself for a while and see what really benefits you and what really resonates with your internal story, and follow that and then make the necessary adjustments to your outcome based sorry to the your specific person based on the outcome you chose to go for. And then yeah, you say thinking I need to understand and sit more with myself to find out what I really want. Absolutely. The way I do these kinds of things is I'll sit down and say, what actually do I want to do? What's something that I want to do in life? What's my life fulfillment? What's my life purpose? And then I consider what fits into it. So my life purpose is to bring this content to you, but I also want to ensure that I do something with music. So my way of thinking about it is I will continue to pursue music, and either A, if I can't for whatever reason make things happen to benefit that, i.e., let's just say for example, Katie's like, well, I don't want to be with you because you don't want to do music. Sorry, because you want to do music and it wouldn't work for our relationship. I would still choose what it is that I want to do because this is my life. But what I'll do, because obviously being the creative power of our realities, I'll go, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to change to make that happen. So I'll start residing within the space of Katie is supportive and ready to make this work, even if I do go somewhere with music. Or Katie's happy to see me go somewhere with music and she wants to come with me, for example. So always pick the thing that you genuinely want. And if something doesn't fit into that, let it go if it doesn't serve you and you don't want it anymore, or make the necessary adjustments to the way that you perceive that situation so it will benefit you and it will still fit into the world that you are creating. Because I never think anyone should ever set themselves aside at the expense of someone else. especially when it comes to specific people, they are dime a dozens. I am. If I, in terms of relationships, Katie could find a million other people just like me, vice versa. All you guys, there's plenty of other people out there that could give you the same thing your specific person does, but you're the only you are ever going to experience. So make sure that you give yourself the best you that you can get, and get the best dime a dozen of their version of them that you can get based on your internal state of dialogue, essentially. I know it sounds rude, I know it sounds mean, but when you look at things like that, it puts you in very much more of an abundant mindset, and then things come easier. It's kind of like taking a step back, but propelling yourself 100 forward, and you'll make more outcomes that way. Olga says, how do you know when to let it go? If you mean let it go as in like entirely move on, in that instance, it would be when the act of manifesting your individual and how you're living your life while manifesting them is no longer outweighed by the result of getting them, i.e., the pain, the boredom, the frustration, the holding yourself back, like whatever negatives that come through manifesting your specific person, which in theory there should be none, but obviously as you're getting used to building up your manifestation process, there may be a few of those things. But the pain and the negatives of manifesting your person, when they begin to outweigh the positives that you expect to receive through getting that person, that's when you should move on, in my view. Just because, again, that goes back to the last point of you're actually actively hurting yourself for something that's not even worth it. Of course, the best things in life often come with a little bit of grind at first, or a little bit of struggle and suffering at first. But if the struggle and suffering doesn't outweigh, or sorry, if the reward of the struggle and suffering doesn't outweigh the pain of the struggle and suffering, then it's just a struggle and suffer. If I was to, I don't know, let's say, for example, if I was to go work in the sewer pipes 12 hours a day and get only £100 a day, that wouldn't be worth it. I could just go get a comfortable office job paying the same and not have to worry about being in the sewer. Whereas if I was doing that but getting 100 grand a day, all of a sudden, yeah, it's a sucky job, but it's actually now finally worth it because of the amount of money that I'm getting. So if the positives of the reward or the desire don't outweigh the pain and the struggling and the crap that you're experiencing trying to make it happen and to learn this process and to learn how you operate through manifestation, that's when I would recommend moving on. If you mean letting go from the perspective of letting go of the need and kind of detaching to allow your manifestation to come in, I would say straight away, you don't need to ever be holding on to attachment and outcome dependency. Always become outcome independent and let go of that need as soon as you can, so that the manifestation work that you're doing, the choosing of your desire, can allow it to come into fruition. Brooke says, thank you for really taking time to help. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I still know and believe, despite all the negative, I'm still being leaded to my dream life. Well, that's good to hear, definitely. And then Brooke says, manifested changing careers and getting into my dream job and random money coming in. So this tells me I have more difficult time with people and relationships. If that's the case, then look into those more specifically. Why not me? Why can I be the person that has it all in relationships? What do I view about relationships that are stopping me from getting these things? And what do I view about the other person that could be stopping them from providing me the relationships that I desire? These three questions can be really effective and beneficial when it comes to getting to the deep internals of what's going wrong regarding your desires. Yasmi says, feel like you're talking to me. I actually had a similar situation as you explained, Matt. My last ex never supported me when I told him I always had this musical dream path, because one of the reasons why we broke up. Okay, well, hopefully what I said actually does resonate and help you out in that kind of situation, should that be the person you're manifesting back, or if it's just something you're trying to avoid going forward in the future. I know it sucks, the idea of saying, like, I'm willing to pursue this thing even if I lose this person. I get it, trust me, but 99% of the time, if your mind is in the right space, because obviously we are creators of our reality, you won't lose them. You'll just create a better dynamic for the two of you, because you're actually living for yourself for once. You're giving yourself the best version of you, which allows you to be the best version to provide them. For example, and this is going into a little bit of my own situation with Katie. For example, there have been a lot of times when I have maybe not spent as much time with Katie as I would have liked, because I'm responding to emails, or I'm doing video calls, or recording content, or doing these live streams, for example. But what that's doing is it's allowing me to be my best self. It's allowing me to work on my business. It's allowing me to build the client base, to build the support base, to help other individuals which allows me to earn more money, which allows me to feel more accomplished within myself. I feel more fulfilled within my life purpose because I'm helping individuals such as yourself. And this allows me to be a better partner for Katie. Not only do I make more money because I'm working more and working harder and doing better stuff, so I can give her more stuff, we can go and do more things, but because I actually feel fulfilled in my life, even just taking that extra hour to do my emails, I feel fulfilled because I know I've helped people during those emails, which means when I do then finally spend time with Katie, I feel good. I feel enlightened. I feel like I'm accomplishing something and I feel like my best self, which allows me to show up for her in that best self way. So even though you could say, like, oh, I'm putting my work over her, and in some instances, yes, I do prioritize my work if it's really important and I need to get it done, and then spend time with Katie afterward. But what that does is it makes the time that we spend together much better because I'm a better version of myself. So even though these things that I've just said make it sound like you're letting go of your person and moving on, it's actually the complete opposite. You're letting go of needing to please them. You're letting go of needing to be outcome dependent. You're letting go of needing to settle for less so that they will stay, so that you can become the best version of yourself, so they will actually show up for you in the best version as well. And then you can have a better relationship. Our relationship, mine and Katie's, was at its absolute worst when I was unemployed, when I didn't have a lot going on, when I was very insecure. Now employed, self-employed, obviously, self-employed, confident, doing amazing things in life, our relationship has never been better. Even though I have less time to give her, our relationship and the time we do have is far better than when I had all day to give her, because I had nothing to stand for, I had nothing to show for, I had nothing to be proud of. So it sounds like I'm telling you guys to move on and find someone else or whatever, or let go of them and move on. But in fact, I'm not. I'm saying let go, find yourself so that you can be the best version of them, so that they can be the best version of you, and it will create a much better harmony. Calixty says self-concept is so OP. It absolutely is. It has definitely made me not worry about SP anymore, and now I just really want to focus on myself. I couldn't recommend it more. That's why the Masterclass Academy that I spoke about earlier on in the live stream, obviously, is going to have the specific person course completely for free as like one of the bonuses of it, but it's going to be very orientated on controlling your mind, earning your money, building your body, doing like learning your things, because like you say, self-concept is so overpowered. Having a good self-concept allows you to go forward without having to do strenuous amounts of affirmations and visualizations, but still get results. Because if you feel like you're worthy and deserving and the best thing since sliced bread, you're opening up the space for other people to show up proving that to you. Your subconscious mind is also a storer of information, which means often the people that end up showing that stuff for you are people from your past history. Therefore, exes is included, or even, yeah, whatever. So, self concept is just good, people. Just do a self concept. Olga says, thanks, Matt. It actually makes a lot of sense. You're very welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. And then Yasmi says, yeah, you're 100% right. I like to think I'm right quite often. I wouldn't take the risk and talk to people and essentially have your lives in my hands with the information I tell you if I didn't think I was right a lot. So thank you for validating that. Oh, my throat hurts from all the talking. To be fair, Pepsi's probably not helping either. But only a few minutes left, so I'll see if any more comments come in, and if not, I'll head off, start working on the content plan, and finishing off the last of my emails, and then I'll just chill for the night. Don't really know what I've got going on for tonight, but we'll have to see. Oh, actually, one little, just tiny little thing. I don't know if many of you'll notice it. Oh, that's such a bitch. I put a screen protector on my phone and I've got something stuck underneath it. So now I can't get it out unless I take the screen protector off my phone. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but in the past couple of days, I've done 2 shorts that have been a little bit more edited. Do you guys like that? I mean, I like it, so I'm still going to do it anyway. I just want a little bit of feedback. Essentially, it's someone that is doing it for me as opposed to me editing it myself. And I like it. I think they've done some good work. It's simple but clean, and that's what I really like. I've had other editors in the past do stuff, and while they've looked cool, it's just been too flashy and all over the place for what I feel like a manifestation short should have. But this is like simple and looks clean. So I'd like your feedback on that because I think they're doing a great job. But yeah, Brooke says, "Lol, I'm literally trying to put on a screen protector. They're a pain in the ass. I like spent so long trying to get it right, and I've only just noticed. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Will you be able to see? Where's the? How do I turn it? Oh, wrong way. Oh, you can't see it in the camera. There's just like a little dot, and there's a little black dot right in the middle of it. And I have to take it off and get it off. Woe is me. Right then, people. It's pretty much. Oh, Brooke says no, but I know what you mean. What's that in relation to? No, but I know what you mean. I'm not sure. I don't know what that's in relation to. Um, for the mark on the screen. Oh, I see what I mean. Yeah, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Yasmin says, if you're a condition such as ADHD, do you think acknowledging it is limiting yourself, or are you working on it? Sorry for the amount of questions. I feel enlightened. By all means, ask away. You guys are part of the gold membership, and you have access to this live stream to get as much information out of me as you absolutely can. So you have to apologize for asking questions in a forum where you're meant to ask questions. ADHD. So yes, I do. I get really frustrated when people say to me, "I can't do this because I have ADHD." Now, that's not to say that like if you have ADHD that like it's a problem or it's not a problem, because I don't have ADHD, so I don't fully know what it's like. But I do know that constantly stating to yourself that you can't do it because you have ADHD is just putting that limitation on yourself. The least you could do, even if we had outright guaranteed sort of evidence, science, whatever, to say that if you have ADHD, it's harder to manifest. Let's just say someone managed to do that manifest that scientific work, even if it outright said, I can't manifest because I have ADHD, still assuming that to be the case and still going by that limitation is never going to benefit you. What you assume to be true will become true. So the more that you sit there and say, I have ADHD, I can't do this, or I have autism, I can't do this, or I'm an overthinker, I can't do this, or I'm depressed, I can't do this, any kind of one of those sorts of state of beings, mental situations, the more that you say, I have this, therefore I can't, limitation. You would be better off saying, despite the fact that I have this, I can still. That would be a much better alternative to put in place. So I'm not going to say that, like, I'm not speaking from experience in a sense of if you have ADHD, just get over it, quote unquote, because I don't have it. But I am going to say that constantly going by the assumption that because you have it, you struggle, that's never going to benefit you. That's just going to keep you in that little box. So I would recommend, if you need to acknowledge the ADHD, at least acknowledge it in a way of, despite my ADHD, I can still manifest, or despite my ADHD, I'm still successful, because at least that's putting a positive spin on it and saying, regardless of this. But when you say because of this, I can't do it, you've shot yourself in the foot there. But right, everyone, there's been no more comments. We're only a couple of minutes off anyway, and I need to go get a different drink that isn't Pepsi because my throat's getting very dry. So thank you so much for showing up to this live stream. It's been quite a good one, actually. So I do appreciate your good questions, good comments, lovely communication and stuff. I look forward to seeing all you guys in the next one. If you're watching this post live stream and you're not a gold member, by all means, sign up now, get your 10-minute call with me, and get access to these members only lives, because as Yasmi said, they make her feel enlightened. Yasmi says thank you, you're very welcome. Calixty says thanks, Matt, very welcome, it's my pleasure. So join the gold membership while you can, gain the assistance program while you can, because that might be going down again soon, just to take a small little break from doing it. So I definitely recommend getting involved while you can. I can't remember if there's anything else I was going to say. Like and comment on all of my videos whenever I post them, because it really helps the algorithm, which gets it pushed out to more people. Only takes a second of your time, but it makes a massive difference towards my channel's growth. So anytime you click on a video, make sure to like on it and comment it. I really do appreciate it. Competition coming again soon, because I haven't done one in a while and I missed the competitions. Follow my Instagram and TikTok, Mind Over This Matrix, and I will see you lovely people in the next one, because I think that's all. Thank you again for being here. Bye-bye. Now it awkwardly end the stream because it doesn't do it instantly.